Always great catching up with my next guest, Jordan Young, who recently signed with PFL, and they got a really cool feature coming out on him coming up here on Thursday called Prep Point. Jordan, how's it going, man?
It's going real well. Thanks for having me on. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you as well. A lot has changed since the last time you and I talked. You're no longer with Bellator. You're with PFL. Tell me how this all came together.
So pretty much after my last fight, I had a little period where I was able to figure out what I wanted to do, and I had to get a surgery as well. So that really slowed everything down and allowed me to really think about what I wanted to do and weigh my options. And I think communication is key in any relationship, and the communication between me and the PFL has been very good. So I think that's the answer to your question.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you, was there any interest from the UFC just because you had a really good record and you're like heavyweight, they're always looking for prospects. Was that ever an option during that period?
Yeah, I think that there was some interest there. I didn't really, I told my management ahead of time I wasn't necessarily headed in that direction quite yet. So we didn't really look in that direction too hard, but I think there was definitely some interest there though.
But not $1 million. I mean, PFL, that's one of the great things about, being with them is that obviously there is that $1 million at the end of the road. I know you haven't had a chance to fight for them yet, but how have things been so far just getting to work with a different organization and one that, really pays the fighters well? I mean, that's one of the benefits of being there. Like I mentioned, the $1 million price tag if you win the whole thing.
Yeah, it's been real refreshing. The communication's been good, and I feel like also just the new setup, having all these new points of contact and everyone I'm dealing with, it's refreshing, and I'm appreciative of the new setup, the new situation. I'm looking forward to having my first fight underneath the banner.
Yes. No, we're looking forward to that. Just last thing on Bellator, one of the things you and I talked about in the past was they never really promoted you that much, which I found so surprising because like heavyweight's a big division for them and everything else. Were you surprised that they didn't make more of an effort of, whether it's matchmaking or just, overall promotion, that they didn't push you more? Because like I said, you had a great record with them and you're an exciting fighter.
Yeah, not only that, I was also a record holder in my division. I was doing really well, and I'm a young guy, so I definitely feel like they could have did a better job, but I'm not going to knock them too hard. They got me verified, and they also gave me a platform to win some fights and progress in my career. So it kind of slowed me down, I feel like, and I lost a little bit of, I had goals. I'm 25 years old now, and of course, it's the pandemic. So, like, what's going on right now is a little bit out of my hands. But from age 22 to 25, I was healthy and winning fights in the first round and ready to go back out there and fight. And I wasn't feeling like I was necessarily given those opportunities. So it is what it is now, but I think it's their loss. If you look at like the way the PFL is promoting me, that they've been posting me on their Instagram, and behind the scenes, just there's a plan for what's going to happen with me, and it's always refreshing to know that there's a plan.
And we were looking forward to your debut, and then obviously COVID-19 hit, and everyone's been dealing with this craziness that we're dealing with right now with the pandemic. How tough have things been not getting a fight right now? I know you're always training, but I'm sure you wanted to get back in the cage as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's like bittersweet for me because, like I said, I had surgery, so I looked at it as a positive thing on my end, and I'd have more time to recover from the surgery and keep doing PT and doing the right things. And now I'm 100% in a great position. I feel like it's only gotten better for me in that sense. Of course, it's always tough to not get paid or not know when you're going to get paid. I'm kind of going through the same situation everybody else in the country is going through with, the kind of like the negative effects on the economy and like what's going on. So, man, it's kind of mind blowing to even like, I wasn't really planning for this, you know what I mean? I thought like this year I was going to get 3 to 4 fights in, and I was going to get to partake in the season and bounce back from the unfortunate loss that I had, the first loss of my pro career, and then this kind of happened. So I've been just kind of trying to adjust.
Of course, yeah, adapt like everyone else. It's been a tough year on everyone. How has training camp been modified for you with the fact that COVID's still going on? I know it's smaller groups, but how did you navigate through that over the last couple of months? Because I know you just got back to training, I'm sure, just with everything being all healed up.
Yeah, so at first it was like nobody was allowed to come in the gym. Everything was like shut down, and that was like a period where I was really trying to get outside and like use my environment to my advantage and like work out in this field near my house and like just get pad work in outside, stuff like that. Now, of course, Dan Lambert, thanks to Dan Lambert, American Top Team, they've been getting us COVID tested, and we're allowed to go in and train once we pass those tests. And it's just smaller groups, and the hard part to answer your question though, like to say a training camp, we don't know when we're gonna fight, so it's like hard to really put your foot on the gas and be like going forward 100%. But it's been, I think the key's been like finding that balance between going hard and also being smart and staying like in a healthy mind state. You don't want to burn out too fast.
American Top Team's a really big gym, obviously, but with the smaller groups, who are you getting to work with a little bit more than others as far as training partners?
Right now, Shoeface is back in training. He had an injury as well. Johnny Evelyn's back in training. He had an injury as well. These injuries, like, it's unfortunate. Anytime anybody gets injured, we all got injured around the same time, though. So we're all coming back in the gym at the same time. We're about at the same pace. So I've been getting great work in with these guys. And, of course, it's always rotating. And people are having fights, and then they're out of the gym. And then, but I would say those two guys are at the same pace on that right now.
Is there a fight that sticks out that just looking at the roster of the guys that they have signed? I know it's really early. We don't know when the fights are going to take place, but is there one, fighter on there you're like, I got to fight that guy? Is there sort of like an ideal fight for you?
I don't have a timetable for it, but I think that me and Chris Camozzi would be a fun, entertaining fight for the fans. I think it's, I like that he has 19 UFC fights. I think that's very impressive. He's fought in Glory as well. These are accolades that I respect, and I think me and him are two tall, fan-friendly guys, finishers.
How much of an advantage do you think it is that, you're a younger guy, you've got a really good record, and like you're not a huge name? And the reason I bring this up as a compliment in a way, because like you're very dangerous. Whereas if you were like another promotion, they'd probably avoid you fighting some of their top guys. But with PFL, it's a season. Everyone has to fight everyone, or at least they have to fight sort of the stacked guys. How much of an advantage is that you're not sort of this big name and you're in PFL and get to take, whatever fight you want, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that what I like is that everything is earned, not given in the PFL. That's like their thing. And, when you go into this format, you don't really have option of what's going to happen. You just have to go with the flow and kind of accept what's given to you. And I like that there's not any politics involved with it. It's a lot more straightforward, and you just get the opportunity to prove yourself as a fighter. That's real attractive to me.
How do you think you stack up against the division in PFL, and who do you think is the toughest challenge? I know you mentioned the Camozzi fight as far as one you're interested in, but who do you think is going to be your toughest test in that weight class?
I think that, the champion did a very good job last year. I think he's another finisher. Who's tougher than the champ, right?
For sure.
Last year, so I'm gonna go. I'd say he's probably the toughest fight in the division. As far as how I stack up, I think I'm a dangerous guy. I finish a lot of guys, and I'm always looking for the finish from any position. So I think that makes me very dangerous because I foresee myself being one of the healthier guys going through the season. I don't take a lot of damage in my fights, and I come out relatively healthy. So I think that makes me very dangerous.
This Prep Point show that they're doing, it's coming out here Thursday, like I mentioned. What can people expect, and how cool is it to kind of get a behind the scenes look of what you're up to?
Yeah, it was kind of it was like new to me. I've never been on this platform, so I could get like a raw look at me, if you will. I wasn't prepared for this in any sort of way, and they asked some off the wall questions, so we had fun with it. And I think that you just get to see me in my house chilling in my natural environment, and I give like real rapid answers to some of these questions, and it's just a good look at me and how I operate.
Awesome. And what have you been up to in terms of downtime during COVID? Because I know a lot of us have been confined to home. I know, for you, it's mainly just training and coming home as well. But have you picked up any new hobbies, anything like that?
Yeah, I've been reading some good books. I've been rotating through some books, and also just getting a lot of good film in. I've been watching I watched the previous PFL seasons, did my homework on what's going on, and I've also just been paying a lot of attention to what's going on in MMA, like current. I appreciate all the UFC events that are going on. Of course, I'm sure that's what every fighter's doing. After training, I like to play the game. I like to, typical stuff. Nothing's really changed for me. Just staying indoors, trying to stay away from like social interactions. Though I don't really care for that right now. I don't want to take any risks or find myself in a position where I can't go outside for 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. Actually, at the time of recording this, we just had UFC 252 over the weekend. What did you think of that card? Stipe defending his title over DC.
Yeah, sorry if you can hear that in the background.
Oh, no worries. I got you.
It was a good card. I liked. It was unfortunate for Sean O'Malley. I wanted to see what he had in him as far as like if he was going to lose that fight. I wanted to see him go out like by getting finished or by decision. You know what I mean? Not by injury, of course. In the main event, I'm always impressed when these two guys fight. It's a hell of a fight between these two guys. You know what I mean? DC got the first one, of course, by finish, but that second fight was a fourth round finish, and then this one, of course, went to decision. So just a lot of rounds between these guys over the last few years. So I was appreciative of the fight, and I felt for DC. You know, the eye poke sucked, and then of course his game, his last fight. It was just a great storyline all the way around throughout the card.
Absolutely. And we're looking to see in the next chapter in your story coming up here, hopefully soon with PFL as they look to restart things. Jordan, it was great catching up with you, man. Glad to see you found a new home. Glad to see you're getting the promotion that I thought you deserved for years. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout outs or thank yous, I'll give you the last word.
Hey, I appreciate it. So you guys can find me on Instagram at JAY185. That's J185. And as far as who I'd like to thank Dan Lambert and American Top Team. I'd like to thank my physical therapist, Dr. Christiana Marin in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We put in a lot of great work since my procedure in December, and I'm feeling really healthy, really good, really strong. And I'd also like to thank all my training partners and all my sponsors as well, Aaron Pouncey and everyone who's been helping me out in this crazy time of COVID. And I'd like to thank you for having me on for the interview.